to
be
say this,
part
as
of the
long as we're pumping
change.
this,
What?
please keep sharing that people vote by mail. Their vote has to be notarized.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. So
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to.
Send them my way. I'm ready to go. I'm all.
I
ready to
absolutely
go.
will. So
Yeah.
let's make that our PSA in the middle of this.
I totally will.
interview.
I'll put it at the end. We're
Good.
recording now. So, hello everybody. I'm Michael Abney with Inspired by St. Louis, and today I am joined by a special friend who I've known for quite a little while, probably more than I want to admit. But
Since I
we are
was very
talking
young.
today with Miss Abbie Rudolph with Abbie Takes Pictures. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here too. We had this plan for like a week ago or something. I had a little tooth issue, so is
I
that,
did.
all
Oh my
better
gosh.
now?
We shall pretend that never happened because
Yeah.
that kind of pain should not be allowed on this planet. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. I hate dentists, but you know,
Woo.
we all have ugly smiles without them. So I'm glad they're there. Yeah.
Serious.
So it's good to see you. Our lives I've known you for like a really long time.
Over 20 years.
Let's just
Way
say
longer
over 20,
than that,
yeah.
quite
Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Back when I was in the hair biz days.
Yes.
But now, like you've just always done photography. Like you just took off. It just kept growing, and like here you are today with this huge business, and you travel all over the place. Just tell me about like where you're at with your career prior to 2020, like January 2020.
So I was actually in a transition space. I have been, last year was 10 years full-time for my company, where 10 years ago, full-time, I transitioned out of my teaching career. And I had been shooting weddings, about 25 to 30 weddings a year. I'd shot over 300 weddings, and I realized that I never thought I would get tired of shooting weddings, and I still haven't, but I noticed that I needed less frequency of it. And so right around the same time that I started noticing that about myself, I also started hearing about branding photography, personal branding photography, and it is something that's really big overseas and was starting to infiltrate here into the States. And I just got wind of it listening to a random podcast, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm supposed to do. I just felt it in my bones. So it was late 2018, early 2019, I started making a plan, and in mid 2019, we implemented it, and I stopped taking larger numbers of weddings. I brought my numbers down. So 2019 I only shot 15 weddings. 2020, I'm only scheduled to shoot 10. And I've been upping, the branding game, just really dipping my feet into that, and have just found a second passion. I never thought I would find anything that I love as much as shooting weddings, and I love this just as much. And it has reinvigorated, believe it or not, my love for shooting weddings as well. It's brought a completely different perspective to what I do, and it's great. I'm a storyteller. At the base of everything that I do, I'm a storyteller, no matter what I'm taking pictures of. And it has reignited my fire for storytelling and gotten me deeper in with my brides and grooms, because I'm digging so much deeper in with my branding clients, small businesses, telling their stories, helping them up their storytelling online, their social media accounts, upping their website game, upping their exposure, and helping their potential clients as well as their current clients reconnect or make a deeper connection or understanding of who they are, what their purpose is, why they're doing what they're doing. And I do it all with a camera in my hand, and it's incredible. So that was what I was doing. And what I'm still currently doing, it just looks a lot different than I thought it would.
When did it hit you that things were different? Like they were not going to go back?
So we traveled. So I have several associate photographers on my staff. We have girls that are just second shooters, just specifically trained to do second shooting for weddings. And then I also have 3 associate lead photographers that also take weddings, because I'm lowering my number, but we still have a big demand to have weddings in the Abbie Takes Pictures experience. And so I traveled with one of my lead photographers. I had elbow surgery, and was able to I couldn't really do anything else. So I chose to go with her. We had an engagement session in Kansas City for one of her clients under the Abbie Takes Pictures umbrella. And when the quarantine announcement came out, the restaurants were closing, stores were closing. We were supposed to, mandatory stay-at-home order came out while we were driving home that Sunday. Saturday, we did the engagement session, and we also had a meal in downtown Kansas City with our client at 3:00 in the afternoon on Saturday, and there wasn't a soul to be seen. We were the only people in the restaurant, and at that point, I knew something was getting ready to change. I had no idea what it was going to look like, but I remember driving home. Jen has a daughter. Her husband called her and was like, "Where are you? I just want you to get home. Something's changing." And we just kind of drove home in silence, down 70, just thinking like, this is crazy. Like, it was super surreal. We were on I was on my phone and we were listening to the radio, and just, we had people calling us, making sure we were on our way home. And that day was a big shift. And then I remember waking up on that Monday, because I had tons of shoots that week scheduled. And I just remember waking up Monday and just feeling, I was terrified. I was like, how am I supposed to do my job? The feeling of doom set in that week.
I remember.
Yeah. So it took a couple of days for me to kind of wrap my brain around what was happening. I had the meltdown, and I had gotten in my car, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. I just needed to get out of my house, and I drove around St. Louis actually with my cameras, and took some really incredible photos of the city completely still in the middle of the day. And it was really cathartic. Like, I was telling her story, like St. Louis's story. And I was driving home, and my mom called me, and I had her on speakerphone in the car. And I remember I was driving down 44, and she started asking questions like, "How are you feeling? How is this going to work? Have you thought about a plan? Blah, blah, blah." And I just remember I don't even remember getting into my driveway, because I was just so upset. Like, I could feel it, and you're inside, you're like, I'm going to cry. I don't want to cry, but I'm going to cry. And I remember pulling into the driveway, putting my car in park, and I just unhinged. And it was just one of those sobbing, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to sell my house? Am I going to have to sell my cars? Oh my God. And my mom just was like, "It's okay. It's going to be okay. It's, we'll walk you through this. Dad and I, you can live in our basement if you have to. We always want you to do your passion." And, it was so sweet and loving. And after that, after I just let it out and processed it, I went to bed that night feeling kind of relieved that I had just let it out. I had felt it building up that week. And then the next morning I took a deep breath and I got going, and I sent a text out to my entire staff and was like, "Hey, listen, I have to have a plan. Let's have a staff meeting tonight online and figure out what we can do to help this company keep going." And so we had a staff meeting that night, and it was actually Jen, the girl that I was driving home with from Kansas City. And she was like, we were brainstorming ideas, and she was like, "Why don't you hold online photography classes for your kids, for your clients' kiddos?" Genius. And I was like, I could do that. I was a teacher for a really long time. I could do that. And so that was it. Those photography classes and photography camps saved my life, saved my business and saved my sanity. It gave me a purpose. I was, it worked, and it kept me, prevalent in my clients' brains, not necessarily for photos, but I was still able to advertise something online. So I was still pumping visually on my social media accounts. It gave me a purpose to get up and shower every day. It was like a job. I had to be online, and I had different age groups and different classes and brackets, and I made lesson plans because I'm a nerd, and but it was amazing. And almost to the dollar, I made enough money to pay my bills for those 62 days. So obviously the intention was there and very clear. And it also got I did a mom camp, a camp for moms on Sunday nights for a couple of weeks. So to teach them how to take better pictures of their kiddos with their cell phones and their cameras. And it helped me stay connected to my clientele. So for me, the big lesson has been pivot, pivot. That has been every time I would come up against a wall or a roadblock, every time they turn around, their venues are closing, or they have to cut their guest list down to 50 from 175, or they have to move their date, or they have to change venues, and it's just been pivot, pivot, pivot.
That's actually where this started, was how can I support my community? Like everything went like really hands off, and I'm a hands on guy with my clients. I love, hello.
You know me.
Hello. I just feel a restored vigor for being on purpose, like living life on purpose. Like, I just think we're all going through it, and we're going to come out the other side better for it somehow.
Yep. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I feel the same way. And everyone that I connect with and that I talk to, that I photograph, like we all kind of have that same feeling of like, it's okay. Like, yeah, this sucks. It's okay to know that this sucks, but it's, the only way it's going to get better is if we all come together. And so whatever that looks like, whatever it means, and it means different things for different people, but the least we can do as a human race is to support each other no matter what it looks like. We don't have to fall on the same side of the fence, but we can still love on each other and help each other. Like, and I think that's the only way we're going to get through. So I don't know what else can we do? Like, the hate and the frustration and the anger and the like, that's not going to get us anywhere. It's all about everyone kind of, I've realized that if I just spend a lot of time worrying, that it just brings about more worry, or my brain starts to run away with itself. And, you go down I call it worst case scenario girl, like she pops up out of nowhere. And I'm realizing if I keep paying attention to her, she's just going to keep feeding me, and I don't have time for that. And so
she'll manifest that worst case scenario.
Exactly. She's real good at helping me flip that switch. And so, the more I focus on the good stuff, the more good stuff we're going to get. So I'm all about manifesting that positive energy and forward movement and growth and acceptance. And what else can we do? I work
on the good, because then really that expands. Like that's what the tagline for my business actually is, focusing on the good. So it is really powerful, because what you focus on expands. I've been preaching that shit for 20 years. So it's true. It's more true now than ever.
I have a tattoo of it on my back. So it's my life.
Mine too. So, but that doesn't stop life from happening, and we're all human, and it's just part of it. But we have awareness, and that's how we roll out of it and continue to keep doing more things that we love, and the universe just keeps us sending us that. So, I mean, what is new for you? Like, what is the branding? Yes, and the weddings, and having your team take over some of that for you. But moving forward, where do you see the branding thing expanding to?
I'm really excited. One of the things that has been really great is that I'm getting to connect with a new realm of people here in the city, and doing what I do. I meet 300 new people every at a wedding, and then they connect with me on social media, and then I get to connect with their spider web of people. But now I'm dipping into a whole new spider web of humans, that more on the business owner side of business owners here in St. Louis, and it has been, and it will continue to be amazing. The networking and the, especially at this time in our country, we're all feeling the same fear. And, I just photographed a coffee company called Breve, and they're out in Peebly, Missouri. Their roasters are out there. They've been there for 23 years. And I was like, how do I not know about you? I'm a coffee junkie. How do I not know about you? My favorite. I've had a lot of people ask to get prints of those pictures, because they're just so, it was like a little time capsule. It was incredible. And it was very haunting driving around downtown in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week on Market, where it's normally cars parked one by one everywhere you go. And there was nobody. There was one car on the side of the road. They provide all the coffee to Mizzou. They want to really appeal to the millennials that are in their first big girl jobs, and teaching them that it's simple to have incredible coffee at home.